You're thinking about putting in an offer on a house in Knoxville and you say, maybe we'll just go 10,000 under. Stop.
Because the truth is, the right offer amount isn't just a number, it is a strategy.
And today we're gonna take a deep dive on strategy. We're talking comps, we're talking hot versus stale listings, and we're talking about terms and conditions of the purchase.
Now stay until the end with us because we're gonna give you the 3-offer playbook. What we do for hot homes, normal homes, and stale ones.
First things first, right? List price isn't the exact value that the home is worth. That is just a marketing strategy.
And it's really sometimes price low to create a multiple offer situation, price high to test the market. Sometimes it's just price low because the seller wants out of there as fast as they can.
So instead of just immediately thinking how much under should I ask, what you really need to be questioning is what are the comps in the area? What are the other homes selling for?
And here is a quick comp checklist. Same neighborhood or as close as possible, similar size and condition, recently sold, and watch what's pending.
That honestly can be some of the most important because pending means that it's happening right now. It is closing in a month or less, right? So pending, I think, is probably one of the most important when it comes to comps. An offer isn't just the price that you offer, right? An offer can include things like contingencies, earnest money, and a closing timeline. For instance, like contingencies can be, let's say you're so confident that the house will price for that value that you say, I don't want to do an appraisal. That's crazy, don't do that. But that is something that may help you get your offer accepted versus somebody else.
Also the earnest money. Maybe you don't have the highest price on the offer, say there is multiple offer situation, and you are not the highest bidder, but you are the highest earnest money giver. What does that mean? The seller will feel confident that if you back out for any other reason other than contingencies or inspection, you are going to be losing $5,000, $10,000, $15,000, and maybe the other offer were a typical 1% for $1,000.
And the last thing is the closing timeline. I've had this come up in a situation before where I lost an offer because I had a regular closing timeline. My buyers couldn't close at a later date, but the seller needed to close at a later date because they were also purchasing a home. So there's more than just price when it comes to winning an offer or losing an offer.
So we always do we call it temperature test. And we look at the hot ones. We look hot versus normal versus stale listings. Let's show you some of the hot home signals.
All right, this one's pretty simple and I think you guys are gonna follow along well. This is things like it just hit the market, right? That's gonna be a hot listing.
It's packed with showings. There is only 30-minute showings and the whole afternoon is full.
Rumored multiple offers. Now, this one's really important because the amount of times, the amount of mystical, magical times that I've seen a house be on market for like 180 days, and magically when I put in an offer, it's a multiple offer situation. Be careful on that one. Keep in mind how long has the house been on market? Is it just brand new? What's the market doing? But that can be a sign of a hot listing.
And not only that, but you booked that showing and you were the only showing that day.
Right. The only showing the entire day, but we've got multiple offers. Because as real estate agents, we can see when times are booked for other showings. So I don't know. It's mystical, it's magical, maybe it's Maybelline.
And that comes back to another of our videos where we were talking exactly about the multiple offer situations and how to avoid mistakes or shortcuts that will affect you in the long run.
And another pretty hot term is highest and best offers. Bring your highest and your best offers. This is another one that magically can show up sometimes, but if it's a brand new listing and they're telling us bring your highest and best, maybe listen to what they're saying.
Because really in that case, you're just not negotiating with the seller. You are competing with other buyers.
Now, let's talk about some of the normal home signals, right? This is like your average, what it should be buying a house type of home. And right off the bat, it's priced with other comps, right? Like the price of this home is similar to the prices of the other homes that have either sold or are pending within that same area.
It has steady showings. Say it's not packed full for the whole afternoon, but there is 3-4 showings that afternoon.
And this is a wonderful one, no weird urgencies. You don't get that weird feeling from the real estate agent, from the seller's agent, that it's like, you need to put in an offer right now or this is gonna leave.
And really, we as a real estate agents know, as we have said in many of our videos, how the micro markets work here in Knoxville. There is certain area, even streets in an area, if a house comes on market in that area, in that particular street, it's gonna be gone the very first 3 days of the listing. The other street, you might feel the urgency, but we will be able to tell you, hey, don't worry about it, we got time.
For instance, I had a buyer come to me saying, hey, I want to buy this specific house, whatever the house may be. Our initial offer didn't get accepted because they didn't like the terms, they didn't like the conditions, whatever. I told my clients, I said, hey guys, don't fret, give me a week. I know the area and I know that house is still gonna be on the market. Lo and behold, a week later, that house is still on the market. We put in the exact same offer and it got accepted. So just listen to your real estate agents because sometimes they do know what they're talking about.
Sometimes. So you gotta pick the right one. So let's talk about stale listings. It is a listing that has been on market for a while. And it could be, when we say a while, it could be 2+ weeks, but it will also depend on the season and how the market is reacting. So right now, February 2026, we can say a house being on market for 48 to 60 days is not stale yet. But if it's been on market for 90, 95 days, it's considered stale.
Now, another thing to look out for is price reductions. This might not necessarily 100% mean that it's stale, but you can also look at time on market and price reductions. That's generally going to be a stale listing.
In those instances, when the listing has been stale or has been declared stale, you have opportunities. I don't want to leave this point before telling you this. When a listing has been stale, being pricing, being non-functional layout, dysfunction on any of the systems of the house, remember that if at some point that house was on market for 110 days and you come and get a great deal, you're gonna have the same issue when you're going to be the seller of that home. Everybody is going to look at the same defects, like Christian was mentioning. The ups and downs, the 6 feet tall ceiling, the mini master bedroom, all of those things are going to come up, so don't try to get a deal.
Now, next we're going to talk about what most buyers miss because they just generally don't think about this stuff. They think about the price of the home and that's usually it. But sellers don't only care about the price. Sometimes they have other things going on that they need covered before they're able to sell their house.
A solid offer is a combination of things. One of them being your strong pre-approval. Have you been pre-approved? Have you been through underwriting and you're just waiting for an address?
Earnest money, we talked about this earlier. How much earnest money are you putting towards that home? Are you putting 1, 2, 3,000 or are you putting 5, 10, 15?
Clean contingencies without being reckless, without saying I'll cover if there is a gap on the appraisal.
And truly, this is the most important part, a timeline that covers the seller's needs. For instance, if they're buying another house or they have to move or they have a job opening, whatever the case may be, if that seller needs to move, 2, 3, 4 months from now, they'll look at that when reviewing an offer. So make sure you get the whole story. Now, if you're asking yourself exactly what in the world is earnest money, well, earnest money is just an upfront deposit showing the seller that you are serious. In most markets, it's 1 to 3%. But if you put in more, let's say you're buying a $400,000 house, you put in $20,000, that's gonna stand out more than any other offer put on that house. I can guarantee you that. And usually earnest money is non-refundable unless it's some sort of contingency or there's some sort of inspection going on. Like let's say you check out the inspection, the foundation is crumbling, you didn't know that and now you do. That's generally an okay reason to back out of the deal and return with your earnest money.
But you'll lose it if 3 days before closing you said, after all, I don't like this house. You'll be out of those $20,000.
If you like the content so far, please make sure to like, tap that bell, and subscribe so you never miss another video.
And if the home is truly hot, one tool buyers can use is an escalation clause.
And an escalation clause is where your offer automatically increases by a set amount up to a preset max if another offer comes in.
So let's say the home is priced at $300,000 and your escalation clause says, I will pay $2,000, $5,000, $10,000 over the best offer that you get. Compare that it has identical offer, just higher price. So you can say my offer will go up to $350. That means that if somebody else comes in with a $350, you're gonna be paying $360. So make sure you understand your escalation clause and how the numbers will play if you were to get that offer accepted.
And usually the only time these types of offers or escalation clauses make sense is when you're absolutely okay paying a bit more than what you initially thought.
You want to stay competitive.
Or, and this is a really important one, if you set a hard max that you say we will absolutely not pay any more than X. Now, you set an escalation clause and you're thinking, wow, everything's gonna be great. How can this ever backfire? Well, we have these exact reasons why. Reason number one, you escalate past what the comps support.
At that point, any escalation clause, your appraisal is at risk.
And let's say you win the house, you had your escalation clause, somebody offered the absolute max that you were willing to go, and you buy the house and you regret it.
Also, multiple offers, escalation clauses. Obviously, you're gonna put an escalation clause when there is a multiple offer situation. Just make sure that you understand that every single multiple offer situation have their own dynamics. So make sure you and your agent sit down, have the strategy. You understand exactly what you're putting into your offer so it doesn't backfire later, and you are in the best position to present that offer.
All right, we told you we'd give it to you. Now here is the playbook.
Hot homes. More than likely, you are gonna hit multiple offers.
All right, so play number one is offer very, very close, if not just a teeny tiny bit higher than the comps.
Make the terms clean. Reasonable inspection, strong financing, a clear timeline.
And this is very important, consider escalation, but only if you can stomach the cap of what you're able to pay. And truly, you never win by throwing safety out the window. The goal is to win the house and keep those protections as well.
Now we go to a normal home. It's priced right, showing steady. Go ahead and offer based on comps.
And this is where you can ask for seller concessions if you need them. We're talking closing costs or possible rate buy downs. It all just depends on the deal.
And keep your inspection contingency and negotiate with facts.
All right, now number three, we're talking about stale listings. These are the ones that have obviously been on market for a long time. They have very obvious defects, or they've had multiple reductions.
As for repairs and credits, strategically.
Make sure to start below the comps. We're not wanting to offer immediate full price for a defect house.
But please shorten the back and forth situation. Counteroffer 1, counteroffer 10. Just offer a clean and confident offer. And here is a pro move. The best leverage often comes from data and certainty, not from being aggressive just for the sake of it.
So the question, how much should I offer, can't really be answered with one simple explanation. There's numerous things that are involved when putting an offer in on a home.
And it is comps, temperature, and terms.
Now, if you're moving into Knoxville at any point in time, please make sure to reach out to us. All of our information is in the description box below. You can get a one-on-one Zoom meeting with us, you can text us, call us, or email us.
And don't forget, if you're watching from your TV, here is the QR code, and you can do so scanning your phone. Now comment hot or stale and we'll tell you exactly what to do in your situation. See you next time.